Hey guys, Andorn27 here, and welcome back to Timberborn. So, we have rebounded from our last couple of episodes. We're now we're back to pretty much where we started. In the middle of a pretty bad drought, but definitely improved a lot of our stuff in the meantime. A lot more food storage, a lot more water storage. Hopefully that sees us through. I've been thinking about what we should do from here, but before we get into that, let's just go ahead and jump into the game. And here we are. So as you can see, 18 days to go on the drought. We've got our water storage still. Looks like our beavers have done pretty good over here. I'm going to go ahead and back out the rest of this road. Let's see here. And we will finish putting dynamite on everything. I think they can still, yeah, I believe we're okay on all of this. Let's just run it back all the way to here and see if they can still get it. Okay, throw down some explosives. And we're back in business. Let our beavers do that. So we are gonna hopefully be able to weather this just fine. And we had just got down our wheat farmers. I think I didn't even realize those trees had grown back. I'm pretty sure we tore them down. So apparently trees do have the ability to put down seedlings. That's cool. We're gonna go ahead and finish getting our wheat farm set up. We have all this here, and we're just going to get rid of this spatter dock. Most likely, we're going to come back later and make, probably up on the cliff or something like that, make ourselves a dedicated aquatic farm so that we can start taking advantage of some of this material. But for right now, this just isn't doing us any good, so I'm just going to tear it out. And then we'll go ahead and put this back to running. So we have our wheat farmers farming, but we do need a couple of things so that we can process that. The first is going to be a grist mill, 60 horsepower. We're going to go ahead and buy that. So we have plenty of science points. And let's throw that one in. Oh. We'll get back to that in just a moment after I finish refilling the water. Okay, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get back to the business at hand. Where do we put a grist mill? And ideally, I want this to be somewhere close to our wheat farmers so that they can just pull it directly. And to that end, I'm thinking we throw it up here. So we also want a bakery. Bakeries are... okay, they don't take any power. They just need logs, planks, and gears, all of which we have. So let's go ahead and throw down a... let's put them on up here. We don't necessarily need more than one grist mill. Well, I don't know. Actually, in my game, I had a hard time keeping up with all this. Let's put one grist mill down for now. If we need more, we can put in more. It's not a huge deal. But as far as where we're going to put this thing, we'll put it up here. So let's go ahead and just ramp. Okay, these are bigger cliffs than I gave them credit for. And we'll get our stairs up. And path. Done. Okay. Well, 15 days and our first water storage went out. So obviously still not nearly enough water. This was a long drought. If I remember right, this was a 23-day drought. So we're getting into the really bad ones. I was so optimistic in my early episodes about how long we could last with our our much expanded water storage, and boy, the game came back and taught me in a big way that I didn't have any idea how bad this was going to get. So we do still have plenty of water. Our storage is full up. We've got a pretty good surplus of food, and we're taking steps to stay ahead of that. So that said, let's go ahead and get that grist mill placed down. I'm going to leave space for a second one. That'll just take 120 horsepower, so 3 wheels. I'm going to put 2 down anyways, and that way we can hopefully be covered regardless what happens. And in this case, I just don't think there's much room. I mean, we are getting into the canyon walls, but they do flatten out at the top. So we'll go ahead and put down... Alright, we'll put you down. And let's get our 2 power wheels up. So definitely this storage is not going to last to the end of this drought. I've already resigned myself to that. We're going to have to hope that our stores are sufficient to see us through to the end. Otherwise this will be a very sad video, the final one. But I do think we made a lot of efforts to see ourselves through to the end on this. I think we'll be just fine. I'm going to believe that until I'm proven wrong. With that said, let's go ahead and let them build some of this stuff, and I'll come back in a minute. Alright guys, welcome back. I think I'm going to do a couple of things too. Our grist mill's built, they're making the power, that's not going to take too long. And we do have plenty of unemployed. Our population over here, we still have 5, so they're all working away as happy as can be. Just got these 4 more explosives left to go. That said, I'm noticing our beavers are having a little trouble keeping up with the carrots again, and so I would like to go ahead and put them on, or not put them on, but unlock another decoration for them. We had previously decided that shrubs could or increase work speed. I believe that's accurate. Let's just double check that real quick. It's been a little bit since that episode. Yeah, so shrubs are beneficial and also cheap. Cheaper than the statues. And since we have not resumed our metal production yet, which we could. In fact, let's go ahead and do that. I think I just forgot about all this stuff up here. But we'll go ahead and start up our metal production again. Oh. Gotta keep the water flowing, as long as there's water to flow. That said, this little trench is doing marvelously. It will definitely keep the plants alive as long as it's got water in it. So if that turns out to be a really effective way of managing that and helping to keep some of our crops alive, I may go ahead and even deepen it. Although the deeper it gets, the less effective it gets. I mean, you could even tell from there, this little trench still lets the stuff out here on the corner die. So when it drops below that point, then it's even less effective than before. We'll go ahead and get these guys back up and running, and let's go ahead and unlock our shrubs. We've got plenty of logs. We'll throw down some shrubs here and there to... they have a very poor area of effect, but we'll throw them wherever we can to increase our beavers' happiness and get them working just a little bit faster. Because obviously that is going to be one of the things here that's going to help us. So that little shrub right there is not actually doing any good for these over here. I don't think I'm going to fix that. I think we're just going to leave it the way it is and just be content with what we have. I can throw in a shrub right here. And, well, just give me a moment. I'll put these down and we'll get back to it. Alright guys, moment of truth. This is the last of the water. With that gone, we are entirely dependent on our water storage. what's left in here, and our food storage and trenches. So we'll have our moment of truth. In the meantime, I did go ahead. We've got bushes placed. They're just not very range effective, so I'm glad we went with the statues instead of the shrubs. So these are getting placed down. We will see how they end up doing soon enough. But at the very least, I've placed them by the most important buildings, our paper, explosives, and as many of our farmhouses as I could. I could tear out one of these carrots. Maybe that would be worth it. But I'm just not going to. So, alright. So we are going to go ahead and build our stairs down. I'm thinking just right along in here. So get that staircase built. Our water did run out. We are dependent on this 1,000 here and this 1,000 here to carry us through. Our trenches are doing their job though. We're losing some of our wheat. We may go ahead and add in some trenches along these sides to help with that on the next drought. But all in all, the whole point of this is just to tide us over in an emergency, and so it is doing what it's supposed to. We have to make it 5 more days. And we have food as long as the water in this trench works. So we'll probably be okay. That said, they got that built. Let's go ahead and lay down our explosives. Alright, we've got our plan here. Let's go ahead and just assign priorities so they work on the most important dynamite first. So that we're not spinning our wheels working on stuff that's not going to actually benefit us. Although at this point, that's actually not a thing. When the water fills up here, it's going to be covering everything in this area. So there's no such thing as useless dynamite at this point. But I still would like them to get the stuff closest first. The stuff back in this corner second. And then they could get the stuff here on the edge. So with that said, I'm going to let them do their thing. We have 3 days to go. We still have water in the trench. Our water store is getting a little bit low. If it gets us to within a day, I think we'll be fine. They've burned through about 400 in 2 days. We ran out of, 5 days? So I am thinking that our preparations were a success. I'm also thinking that I do want to see a little better preparedness for the next one. So with that in mind, let me make a few additions to this and I'll bring you back when I'm done. Alright guys, let me show you what I've done. So first of all, we were not getting nearly enough wheat flour. I've gone ahead and added on a second grist mill. Or our wheat is way outpacing our wheat flour, so I've gone ahead and added a second grist mill and another power wheel. Those will get worked, although if we're going to do any more growth in that direction, what we will probably do is build up another staircase over here somewheres. The drought's almost over. Our trench barely used any water, actually. I wonder if that's something we could take advantage of. I mean, obviously we're taking advantage of this, but maybe we could somehow put some little water spots. And our water store is held basically to the end. I don't think we're going to lose anyone to thirst, and obviously not to hunger. Though our food production did drop with the loss of these. That said, we're not producing any bread yet. So let's go ahead and get that unlocked. We'll get the bakery. Drought over. Alright, the time has come. We've got a lot to do, and oh so very little time in which to do it. So, let's go ahead and throw this bakery down. What do you think here? Where do I want to put this? So we're running a little short on space. I actually think, like I just said, rather than having the beavers go the long way around, let's tear out a couple carrots. I know we're so starved for resources that it's a little bit scary to do that. We're going to take out a couple carrots. We're going to throw down a road as soon as they've done that. And get ourselves some stairs up into the mountains. Now, we don't need to do a repeat of our mistake with the steelworking district. We'll just go ahead and throw our stairs up like so. And get our paths. And as soon as they get this torn out, we'll go get our bakeries. There we go. We have water storage. Let's make sure this is filling up. I know I turned it down to 0 and forgot about it. It's okay. Our beavers will do just fine. They can manage. So we're gonna go ahead and put down our road. What I'm thinking is I want to put the bakery, maybe even 2, but we'll do 1 for now and see how they do. So let's go ahead and throw that bakery down right up here. And I know it's going to say it doesn't have any connection. And then we're going to run this road all the way over here. And I want a couple of large warehouses in here just for dedicated storage of food. That's going to be the next part of our plan to drought-proof Ironhaven. We're going to get that bakery, maybe 2, and we're going to throw it down these warehouses, and they are going to be dedicated food storage, and we're going to work on getting those things clear full to the top. I did also go ahead and throw down some explosives down here. I don't know if they'll get to that. My thought there is that there's this little pocket. There's our next drop. There's this little pocket here. I want to take advantage of that. It's filling up with water and then it's just sitting there. And that's water that our beavers could be using. Alright, and just because it's fun, let's go ahead and detonate these. And here it comes, guys. Here comes the drought. See how bad it is. 24 days. That's not really any worse than what we were already dealing with, so I'm not that worried about it. That said, they did not get nearly as much water storage built up as I had hoped. We're up at 700. I think our water pumps are having a little harder time keeping up now that we're getting up there in population. So I probably should have addressed that before we got to this point, but hindsight's 2020. So let's go ahead. I'm going to tear down these trees here, and I'm going to extend out our first of all, our road network down to here so we have some crossover, and I'm going to throw down more water pumps along here. We still have plenty of unemployed, so this isn't a big deal. Let's go ahead, tear them out. And you know, actually, I'm going to do that over here too. I'm going to turn our forester back on, and we are going to get ourselves some chestnuts. I know we talked about that. It is a food source. So I want to get some chestnuts planted. There's no reason not to. Our gatherer is spending most of his time waiting anyhow, and so he can be gathering some chestnuts while he's at it. I do also hate to say it, but I am going to pause our beaver production. Our food is having struggles again, and the last thing I need is for them to start dying. So we're going to pause, let the population shrink down a little bit, and then we'll start them up again. Oh, better get the water flowing. Keep an eye on that. We lost a few potatoes there. That said, we do have bread started now. We probably want to go ahead and get a statue over here so that our bakers can work faster. And also, it does look like we're not even putting a dent into that. I think that's just because of how long it takes them to process. So let's go ahead and get ourselves a second baker. We've got enough built up. If we need to, we can expand in other ways as well. But that'll give us a lot of food, and hopefully will let us address some of these issues that we're currently having. So I've just gone ahead. I'm going to extend this this path here. We're going to run it over and put in 3 new water pumps. I'm not going to prioritize those. They're going to be kind of a drain on our current water system. We are still building up water, so that's not a problem. The biggest problem is actually going to be that we are burning through our water reserves pretty quickly. And so I don't want to add additional strain to that. Water is probably going to be our biggest issue. So I want to make sure that we get plenty of water storage, but ideally we would have got that when the water was flowing, not now that it's stopped. Can't be helped. And I don't think that we're going to have the food issue. We are working on addressing our current food shortages, but that'll be hopefully cured with the addition of this second bakery, because as you can see we have a lot of wheat flour. I could even throw in a third if need be. Yeah, we are draining it pretty quick. We're already down to height 1 with 15 and a half days to go, so definitely a little concerned on the water end of things. And if need be, what we can do is just take and send a bunch of water over here to this area, and in the event that the main colony dies, hopefully this one will weather the storm and we can bring back the survivors to work the farmhouses and the gatherer, get our kit production back up, get the next generation going. Mostly I think our problem's just a population issue. We grew it out and weren't able to handle that many, and didn't increase our production enough to account for that. Seems to be kind of a theme with my colony, but we will just keep going and doing what we can to try to address that issue, and nothing else we can do. The other thing I want to do, I want to go ahead, I know I said they're ugly and they are, but I want to go ahead and add a roof onto here. It does give them just a little bit more speed, and we will just throw a couple of roofs on just like that. And I don't know if this would work this way, but I think we can throw in a couple of statues. I don't know if that'll give everyone that lives here a boost. That would be really cool if it does, but no idea if it works this way or not. We'll throw a couple statues down like this, and a couple shrubs. And if that boosts everybody, then great. And if it doesn't, well, it'll still look nice. Alright guys, just bringing you back. This is the last of our water. I am pretty worried with 11 days to go. Our beavers have definitely pumped up as much as they can. I'm not too worried on the food situation. These bakeries have started swinging in full production. We've got bread that is helping to offset a lot of those issues. In the event of the worst, I have requested that we get a full 100 carrots, 100 water. That will hopefully be enough to keep the beavers in this district alive. And in the event that everybody dies off, we will move back and repopulate and try to bring ourselves back from that unfortunate brink. I'm looking at it, and I think I probably should have done a little better. I was running on a false assumption that about 70 was the break-even point for 6 breeding pods, and I'm seeing now that just was a bad assumption on my part, and we were not ready to handle more beavers. As much as I would have liked it, there goes the last of the water. So as much as I would have liked it, we just weren't able. We have 1,300 water. It has to make it last for 10 days. I have my doubts about that happening. Our beavers are burning through it far faster than we can make it last. So, with that said, I am out of time for today's recording. If you like what you're watching, like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.